Gloria's sister. Okay. So Florence, you have a son? Yeah, okay. And he's here as well, isn't he? Yes, yeah. Okay. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with your son's dad. You know, the whole relationship that led you up to the point where you have your son. Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. My son's dad, I started dating him from a very young age, at the age of like 15, 16. Yeah, 15, 16. So he was that kind of first love kind of person and everything. He was such a lovely person. He used to go to church and everything, and I didn't. But I loved God. I was from a Muslim family and stuff. So he used to say go to church. I might just go to a Catholic church. And we were dating for a while and everything. Then eventually he was going to uni before me. And that's when everything started changing. He just started acting different. When I came back from a family holiday, I came back from Nigeria, things just started going a bit strange and I didn't understand why. My mum knew him and things like that, and I got to know his family, so yeah. And then eventually, the year after I went to university, we were no longer in communication and we just went our separate ways. And then we kind of got in contact again when I was at uni and kind of tried to start working on things again. It didn't quite work out. And then I ended up getting pregnant and I wanted to have a termination, but there's something within me that just wouldn't allow me. I kept booking it, but in the morning something didn't feel right within me. And not knowing that at that point in my life through the pregnancy, that's when God wanted to save me, you know? So, yeah. Okay, so that's what happened during that course, and I had my son Joshua, praise God. And then over time, the dad will be on and off, and eventually he became abusive towards me. He was never like that. He started becoming a bit violent. The last one I can remember when he ever laid hands on me was in 2012. He actually had a severe accident. He went to a holiday and he was on a motorbike. He fell off it. He was under a van. He was unconscious. He had inflation in his brain. He was in a coma for like a month. So it was a thing where it's like, he had another child at this point, which was a year younger than my child. And it was at a point, his family just loved me. You know, they didn't want to know no other woman apart from me. So the mum just kept calling me and saying, please, can you stay with my son? Please, please. And I was working at the time. So it was like, am I really going to leave my job? You know? And a part of me at this time, I was getting close to God. So it was either, I was kind of doing it like, God, I want to do this so I can be around him to pray for it, but also because I care for him as well. So at that moment in time, I left my job. I went to, he couldn't really recognize me because he was unconscious and stuff like that. And I would just pray around him, pray. The Lord would speak that, you know, he's going to come back. I would just pray and things like that. And eventually, after a few weeks I was there, maybe 2 weeks, his consciousness came back. And, you know, he recognized me. He was really like a baby, you know, he was quite calm, kind of like he had memory loss. And then things started to come back, he started reminding him of things and stuff like that. Then at the time, he started dating another girl. It wasn't the mother of his second child, it was another girl. So imagine I'm in a country, I'm not even dating him. I was his girlfriend from a young age and things like that. So I've now had to meet the other two ladies, you know. So they all know who I am, a little bit intimidating because they know the family like me. So I'm just, you know, I can kind of talk to anybody. So I was just talking to them and just comforting his girlfriend at the time that he's going to be okay and things like that.
Comforting?
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I heard that.
Yes, I was comforting his girlfriend. I know people think I'm weird. It's just my nature, you know. So, because I wasn't his girlfriend at the time, you know, even though I had a child for him, but yeah. So eventually she went back and then I still had to stay with him and everything. Then I think he just woke up, started getting a bit angry, just the pressure, things started coming back to him. He realised that, you know, we're not together, and even though he was happy to have me there, I think a little argument broke off him and his girlfriend, so got up after I was looking after him, helping him to wash. He couldn't do anything. Then he started beating me in the hospital, like had my head over a balcony, and I couldn't attack him back because I'm in a foreign country. He's the patient there, and if anything happens at this moment in time, I'm in trouble, you know. So he was about to trying to hit the iron over my head, broke my phone so I couldn't contact my mom, my sister, nobody. It was the worst experience of my life. It was like a Nollywood movie. You know, like when you watch those movies and people are really suffering, and you're like, it was the worst of the worst of the worst. And he said I couldn't stay there anymore. I had no money with me, nothing. So I just started dragging my suitcase around. The nurses didn't even come and help. They didn't care. So no one came to my aid or anything. So I started going around the whole of Spain, just knocking on doors. Can I stay here? It was so, my sister ain't even know half of this. It was so bad. You know, I was just knocking, can I stay here? Can I stay, please? I didn't speak Spanish, you know, and they didn't let me stay. So I went back to the hospital. I had a bit of a bruise on my face. And I just went to the waiting area, tried to sleep there. Then the security man was like, sorry, you can't stay here, you have to leave. I had to go back to the room and I was on my knees, I was begging him, please can I just stay here till tomorrow, then I'll leave. He was like, no, then he calmed down, and eventually he went on his hospital bed. There was a sofa bed, I sat there, I literally could not sleep throughout the night. And I've never been so afraid in my life, because I'm not someone that's intimidated like that. But at this time I felt very vulnerable. So I just literally stayed awake, and anyone that knows me, I love my sleep. Like, nothing can stop me from sleeping. But I actually could not sleep. And then in the morning, eventually, I just collapsed on the floor in the bathroom, but I don't think he realised. And I woke up and found myself on the bathroom floor. And then I was back to making breakfast, and I've been doing this, you know, helping him out, and he said, no, you can poison me. He just started saying things, and I was like, if I was going to poison you, I would have poisoned you all this time, you know. And then one day, has anyone watched Tina Turner? What's not got to do with it? Yeah, okay. He went one day to make his food, and then I just packed my stuff. I started pressing the lift. It was taking so long to come. I ran for my life, and I just left him. I managed to, one of my friends, I knew her number by heart. Someone in Spain, they let me use their phone. She transferred money to my card, booked a ticket straight away, and I came back to London. And that was the end of that. But that wasn't the end of the abuse. You know, that was 2012. The last time he ever physically touched me was 2013. So these times I was in church, I was leading people, all those kind of things. And, you know, I didn't talk to him for a long time. His family was begging me. My family got involved. They wanted to get him arrested and all that kind of thing. And he begged me and begged me and begged me. Some weird number kept calling me. You know, this is like 6-8 months after. For that reason, I did not want him to see my child, because I did not want my child to be around anyone that was abusive, you know. And then one day I thought, okay, you know, it's been some time, maybe he's changed. So I allowed him to come around, and he bought my son trainers. Thank God one of my girls was coming to my house that day. So he was talking to me. And I was trying to say, okay, can you leave my house now? You know, I need my space. And he was getting really, at the time, he was getting really anxious about that. I know he had somewhere to go because his girlfriend was calling him. I was like, oh, you need to go anyways, but I need to, you know, space. He was getting really anxious, like, kind of this protective thing, like, why are you trying to rush him out of your house? Is someone coming? Is it a guy? That kind of thing. And then my son was there. My son he's a sharp boy. He was maybe around 3, 4 at the time. So he went to open the door for my friend. And as she was coming in through the door, she could see him. He was punching me, punching my face. And this time I was hitting him back because I was not going to accept it this time. So I started hitting him back, like fighting him, you know. And then my friend came around, she was like, you know, stop this, because, you know, she knows who he is. Stop this, why are you doing this to her? And he turned on her and said, I'll hit you too. I went in front of her and said, don't you dare touch my friend. And that was the last time I've ever been physically abused, 2013. So, as years went on, I didn't talk to him. Do you have a question? So I was listening. As years went on, I didn't talk to him for a while. The family was still trying to beg me. I didn't let him come to my house. I didn't come into his house. I just went on with my life and just focused on God and things like that. So only last year, around August, I changed my number so he couldn't get in contact with me and my son for a long time. Only around last year, August, is it August? Yeah, summer, basically. he's been trying to get in contact with me. We spoke on a civil level. We didn't really speak about you've done this, you've done that. You know, you can just tell that I'm not the same person he knew. So now we're civil with each other. He still does not come into my property. When he wants to see his child, he'll message me, how are you? Can I have Joshua this weekend? And I'll say, yeah, that's fine. So that's how it's been for a few months now. So I think we're grateful.
There's a saying that says we teach people how to treat us. You know, when you look back at your life then, which is completely different to your life now, climate change, but you look at your life now, it's completely not what you had before. What do you think it was about the girl that you was before that didn't recognise that she is more, more precious than rubies, that you would allow somebody to treat you like that?
I think the girl I was before was probably someone that was quite insecure, you know, and a lot of people never think that of the Florence, never. They get, you know, but I was quite insecure. So a girl that was afraid, you know, to step out, you know, and I just felt like this was it, you know, that kind of childhood love, you know, so I almost didn't want anyone else or that kind of thing. So I was very, I would say I wasn't wise. I didn't have the knowledge of the things that I had now. I didn't have the right people around me. I couldn't really speak to my mum like that. You know, I didn't have the right friends, mentorship and things like that.
Do you think you had the right perception of what love was? Because you know when you're younger, you think you know what love is, and you think the passion of fighting, you think that's actually a sign of love, so do you think you had the wrong perception?
Definitely. I love that you said the passion of fighting, because actually, because he never hit any other woman, people say that because he hits you, it means he cares about you the most. So I actually thought that, you know, he gets more angry towards me because he loves me, and that is rubbish. You know, I thought that for a long time, that even my sister started thinking there's something wrong with you. You know, it was really horrible.
What's your perception of love now?
Yeah, God is still working in me, but definitely, I would definitely say that the perception of love now is, you know, love, when you love someone, I can only understand true love from the perspective of loving God. I can't even say, can I love myself first? I need to love God first, to then see myself the way God sees me. Then I can love myself. I hear a lot of people say you have to love yourself, but on what foundation or what basis do you love yourself? And I can only say that I love myself because of God, because there's sometimes I still feel like this, but then I have to remind myself of what God says about me, you know. And love does not hurt you physically. It doesn't emotionally try and hurt you to do all these things, psychological things. That's not love, it's manipulation, it's deceitfulness of man. You know, so I can sense that that is not love, and it's being able to have the right people around you so that you then have the strength to walk out of things like that. You know?
One last question for me. So looking forward into, so you have a son, you want to get married one day because you're too beautiful to remain single. Amen. So how do you think you change or transition from that woman that you were before to make sure you don't take that same mentality into your next relationship?
I would definitely say, for me, because I'm someone sometimes, Pastor Ricky knows me, SM knows me, I can be very hard of hearing. Very hard of hearing. And the thing is, it's not that I don't know what to do. I would say it, but I don't follow it through. So I think for me, one thing that is good about me is that transparency, I would say, you know, and it's being able to be transparent at a time before it leads to danger. Yeah. Because a lot of the times, we try, and maybe because you're a leader or something, you know, like speaking to you the other day, you try and say people have expectations of me, but we are only human beings, you know. So when I sense danger, I'm going to pick up the phone and call people. But the thing is that you have to know, discern the people to call. And this season, I'm learning that God is dealing with me in a way because He wants me to be strengthened, so I'm able to carry my shoulders up, carry that ark, you know. So it's being able to discern the right people to speak to because I'm very hard of hearing, sometimes.
Maybe that's all my points there as well. No, that's fine. That's fine. I don't need to like. Well, just something you said about, you know, we may think it's strange, but what she said is so real. When you have that mindset that because he hates me, then he must, you know, he must love me. I actually have a friend who is married now, and when I heard of the way her husband beats her now, beats her and chases her around this posh area where they live. And I could only, you know, my memory just flashed back to when we were in school. She had a relationship with a guy. He used to do the same thing. Middle of the night, then when we were in university, he would chase her around. We were in this village. Let's say we chase her around. Actually, if I say all the details, she probably knows, so I'm going to say all of that. And that's the same thing that will come out from her mouth, that he loves me, that's why he beats me. He has this passion for me. So it may sound strange, but it isn't strange. So you can imagine the kind of mindset that you see it all the time. I have been there. My ex-husband will beat me. And then at work, then I remember I used to be a very junior, I think it was a messenger, when I just first started working in the office. And then he would bring a bouquet of flowers to me in the office. And you know, everyone is like, you know, the office setting, including reception, and who is this for? And I'm like, oh, it's me! You know, I feel you buy me perfumes, buy me shirts, buy me so many things, and I used to think, oh, he loves me. But then again, that's not love. And even as you were saying, you were hitting him, you know, you started fighting back. And the impression I just get at times, it's not so much the person you're hitting when you're hitting yourself. Because I heard someone say that, he was talking about men actually, that he has not seen a man that beats his wife or beats his girlfriend that loves himself, you know, loves himself. And at times, that aggression and the anger is what you want to actually do to yourself, because it's like, how am I finding myself in this relationship? Okay, so you said God is dealing with you. That was my next question, because I remember the program you went for. She said, oh, I think the theme of the program was last year or earlier this year. You talked about loving, you know, the theme was loving yourself the way God loves you, and you're like, oh, Pastor Ricky, I don't know what to share. And I said, don't worry, just keep taking notes of all the things you're going through right now. That's what God will really have you share. But you just talked about the fact that you're in the journey. And yeah, watch this space. Thank you. So I'm having her back for our youth event, so we'll probably hear more from her. So can we give a clap